I'm Jacqueline Elliott. Thank you for joining us. First of all, I want to start by saying that salesperson is not a bad word. We have to fight against that reputation that society has given us, including that image that we have of ourselves. People who want to obtain the biggest results go to sales. You can get ahead by literally working for a short period of time and reach your goals when other people work their entire lives to accomplish theirs. Sales are achieved by persuading and influencing. This is done in two ways, verbally and non-verbally. Confidence is huge. We'll cover that in a bit. In order to be a great salesman, you have to have the ability. The ability consists of four things: building rapid rapport, becoming a great negotiator, overcoming objections, and being a great presenter, making people want to listen to you. If you become great at those four things, you have the ability to be a great salesman. We'll cover this as well. Now, there are four types of salespeople. Identify yourself and where you're at. Be honest and take action. First, there's order takers. You know who you are. You're pleasant, you shake hands, but you're incompetent. And at the end of the conversation, you hand out your business card and hope for miracles. Second, there's salespeople. You do your job, you land people on the car, you know a few trial closes, but your manager closes your deals almost every time. Third, there's closers. You close your own deals, but not for all the money. And fourth, there's master closers. You know who he is. He closes all his own deals and for all the money. Identify yourself and where you want to go. Set your standards high. There's two types of people. There's reason people and find a way people. Reason people are pessimists. They never push themselves and they're always looking for reasons of why it's not going to work. Find a way people are optimists. They succeed 4 times higher than the rest. They always tell themselves that they're the best. They're always growing and failure is not an option. If you're a reason person, you have to change that to make it. Experience and time in the business does not equal top salesman in the store. Motivation, ambition, hard work, and most importantly, training. Investing in yourself to get better. That'll get you there. If you do it right in sales, you can make more money, have more freedom, and design your life. Andy Elliott has been in the business for over 16 years. He's loaded with knowledge and has proven that his strategies are effective in today's times. No need for combativeness, negotiating, or anything of that sort. His strategies are simple and to the point. I suggest you pay close attention, take lots of notes, and really get this down. It'll change your life.
Hi, how you doing? I'm going to show you today, this is basically the lifespan of a salesman. 90% of the time you're outside on the lot, no money exchange hands. You do a good job, you build value, you build rapid rapport, but the last 10% of the time you're inside collecting 100% of the money. And I'm going to show you the most common objection that most salesmen feel like that they struggle in, which is the payment's too high. I'm going to show you how basically not to negotiate and to use pure money justification and never negotiate again, okay? So what I have here is this. 08 Chevy Trailblazer, 90,000 miles, the customer's currently paying $300 a month. You got to remember this. An Impala in 2005 is 15 grand, payments are $250 to $300. In today's times, $30,000. Long story short, $550 payment. Well, guess what? Most customers aren't prepared to go to those big payments. Most salesmen aren't prepared to take them all the way to the payment, which makes us all the money. I'm going to show you how to collect it, and I'm going to show you how not to negotiate and never bring up that wall again between you and your customer or combativeness. So let's say the payment's going to be $599 a month. Our job as a salesman is to defend the pencil. When they write down $599 a month, that's what you need to bring back. How do you do it? I'm going to show you how. What I like to do is when I do money justification is to show you how to take it from a payment and turn it into an ownership payment. People work hard for the money and put it in the bank. And then what comes out of the bank, that's real money spent. So many times when people are making trades, they're looking at just the payment versus the payment. But we've got to learn how to turn benefits into money. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do, okay? So this probably sounds like a lot of you guys. The payment's $599. The customer says they can't afford more than $400. You ask them to meet you in the middle, no more than, up to, reward yourself, your wife's worth it. We say things, we get a $425 or even a $450 commitment and take that back to the desk. Even if it's $500, you're still falling short. So what I want to do is I want to show you how to take it to the next level and how to grab an eraser. I'm going to show you how to take it to the next level and collect all the money. So what I want you to do is this. Remember, there's 3 ways to collect the money. And if you're taking notes, write this down. Number 1, how much more they can pay than what they're currently paying now for the new vehicle. You have to write that down. You got to remember what you hear. Number 2, does our car get better fuel mileage? Listen, if they're getting 25 miles a gallon now and our car gets 30, well, that's 15 a week in gas times 4 weeks in a month. Man, you're sitting on a $60 payment bump just like that. So, number 3, warranty. Listen, if our car has a warranty and theirs doesn't, use it. If our car has 25,000 miles and still has a bumper-to-bumper warranty, but their car has 50,000, it still has a powertrain, but it's out of bumper-to-bumper, we're going to defend the pencil with the bumper-to-bumper warranty our car has and theirs doesn't. Even though it might have a powertrain warranty, we're going to use the bumper-to-bumper warranty to collect money. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a couple different ways. The first one here, this 08 Chevy Trailblazer with 90,000 miles, the customer's paying $300 a month now. They want to go to $400. They're buying a 13 Chevy Cruze. Now what I'm going to do is, 1, I'm going to see how much more, and I'm going to write it down. 2, I'm going to show my gas savings. And 3, I'm going to use the warranty to collect the rest of the money, and I will close them at $599 a month. So, with those notes taken in place, customer says, Andy, I appreciate everything you're showing me. I can't afford more than $400. Okay. $400 is how much you can afford, and how much are you currently paying on your trade-in? They're going to say $300. Write it down. In a seated position, everything has to be written. So that customer is basically saying they can afford $100 more. So guess what I do? I flip over the paper, always negotiate on the back side. If your worksheets in your stores don't have room for you to write on the back, grab a white sheet of copy paper and bring it in behind every proposal or pencil before you show it to your customers so you have something to negotiate on. Collect all the money, be prepared. So that customer can afford $100 more. So I'm going to write at the top, Mr. Customer, just to let you know I was listening to you, I'm going to write the $100 more you said you could afford and budget for your new vehicle. Now this is your 08 Chevy Trailblazer. You're currently paying $300 a month. This over here is going to be your 2013 Chevy Cruze. Payment's going to be $599. Now guys, step back and take a look at it. This is what the back side of your sheet of paper has to be looking like at this point. Now, you're going to collect all the money and you're going to close them. It's real simple. Number 1, how much more they could pay. It's sitting there. Number 2, the car they're trading. Number 3, the car they're buying. Payment versus the payment we're going to be at on a new vehicle. Now money justification kicks in. So let me ask you this, Mr. Customer. On your 08 Chevy Trailblazer, how much you roughly spend a week in gas now? I spend $75 a week in gas. Okay, and you'd agree there's roughly 4 weeks a month, right? Yes. Okay, so $300 a month in gas is roughly what you're spending in gas to drive your old vehicle each month. Now, $300 payment is roughly what you're paying to the bank. And I'm going to add those two together, the total for gas and the total for your payment. And it shows me $600 a month is what it costs you to own, total ownership cost between gas and payment. All right, now stop. Now look at this. I've basically taken a $599 payment where they wanted to be at $400. There's a $199 gap. And I'm explaining to them that they're paying $300 now, but the total ownership cost on their old vehicle, even if they don't buy mine today, they're not paying $300, they're paying $600. That's the money that's leaving the bank. So I'm going to go to my new vehicle. Mr. Customer, on your new vehicle, wouldn't you agree better gas mileage, less money spent? Sure. That's $75 a week in gas. That's going to go to $35 a week in gas because I'm going to cut it in half. Better gas mileage, less money spent. Write it down, the exact same, $35 a week in gas times 4 weeks in a month. That's $140 a month in gas for your new vehicle. Also, I'm going to bring down the $599 payment that your new vehicle is going to cost and add it to your gas to see what it's going to cost total ownership for your brand new vehicle between gas and payment. And that shows me $739 a month is how much it's going to cost to own. So now $600 is what they're currently paying compared to the $739 that the new car is going to cost. I'm going to write that right here, $739, that's the new to own, right? $600, that's what they're paying now. It's real simple. How much more money is this new vehicle going to cost them out of the bank each month to own? $139 more dollars. Now, how much did they say they could afford more for a new car when they came in here? Remember I told you to write it down? They said they could afford $100 more. Mr. Customer, I'm going to take the $139 more this new vehicle is going to cost out of the bank, and I'm going to take the $100 more you said you could afford budget for a new vehicle, and it shows me this new vehicle is actually only $39 more than what you were prepared to pay. And at the end of the day, it's actually not more. Let me show you why. The fact that your old car has no warranty. The fact that my new car has a full warranty. okay? Let me explain this. On a vehicle that's currently out of warranty, the national average what it costs to maintain a vehicle that's out of it is $1,200 a year, okay? Now what that means is this, and you got to give it a little example here. You got to sell the $1,200 real quick. You got to say basically that means this. You could spend $600 in February, okay? Go 10 months, not spend any money. That's how a car works, right? And then all of a sudden in November or December, you spend $600 on a heater, core, or fuel pump or something. $600 through the year. That's $1,200 a year. That's the national average. Divide that by 12 months in a year because the customer is talking about a budget. Well, that breaks down into $100 a month into a small maintenance payment that they have to carry on an old vehicle that's out of warranty. So basically, that $100, compare that to the $39 more the new vehicle is costing, I'm actually saving them $61 as long as I can provide a zero ownership cost on the new car. This vehicle has a 5-year, 100,000-mile warranty, Mr. Customer. Means you're completely protected, completely covered. So guess what? If my motor goes out on this car in 2 years, I don't care if it costs $5,000 or $10,000, how much does it cost you? Nothing. So not only do you get a new vehicle, you have a zero ownership cost. If something breaks, it's going to be paid for. You're saving money in gas. When gas goes to $5 a gallon, your new car is going to get paid back at the pump. So your old car is going to cost you more. So at $599 a month, doesn't it make complete sense to trade it super affordable? Absolutely. Sign here, let me get your new car cleaned up for you. So what I'm going to show you is when somebody says the payment's too high again, except for there's no monthly payment that they're currently paying now. Remember we talked about the 3 steps? 1 was how much more they could pay for a new vehicle. 2, the money we're saving in gas. And 3, show the warranty close and collect that money. Well, this time there's no how much more they can pay because they don't currently have a payment. So I'm going to show you we still negotiate the same. The strategy stays the same. You just have to be willing to have the planned presentation, but be willing to change it based on the customer you're dealing with. Okay? So customer says $599, that payment's way too high. Notice I still have the same cars, but no payment that they currently have on their old vehicle. Customer says they can afford $400 a month. Okay, basically, flip the paper over. Mr. Customer, I understand. Let me show you how affordable your new vehicle is. Old car was normally what we wrote. We're actually not gonna write that this time. We're gonna write payment goal. Why? Because they don't have a payment on their old car. So we're gonna write payment goal. Mr. Customer, your payment goal is $400 a month. Now your new car is $599 a month. Now I wanna ask you this, just go right into the gas close, step 2. Notice we didn't get how much more, but I'm gonna keep flowing. I wrote payment goal and just changed it up a little bit. Roughly how much you spend a week in gas? $75 a week in gas. Okay, and you'd agree that there's 4 weeks in a month. That basically shows me $300 a month is how much it's costing you to own your old vehicle with gas. Now on your new vehicle, I'm automatically gonna cut across, and I'm not gonna add total ownership cost because there's not a payment. I'm just gonna cut across, better gas mileage, less money spent, that's gonna go to $35 a week in gas for your new car. Now you'd agree, there's 4 weeks in a month, just like we did over here. That shows 140 months is what it's gonna cost in gas to drive your new vehicle. So basically I'm gonna take the $300 that you're paying now in gas, right? And then I'm gonna take the $140 that the new car is gonna cost in gas, and it basically shows me that we're saving you $160 a month in gas from what you were paying on your old vehicle. So if I take the $400 payment, that's your goal, and I've just saved you $160 a month in gas, Mr. Customer, that shows me you can comfortably afford a $560 a month payment total ownership cost because of all the money you've saved in gas for your new vehicle versus what you're paying on your old one. And the difference between the $560 you know you can afford comfortably because of all the money we saved in gas and the $599 your new car is going to cost, that's only what, $39 more dollars? Well, the car's really not $39 more dollars, just like we did on the first close. The national average to maintain a car that's currently out of warranty, no warranty, is $1,200 a year. Remember the timeline? That could be $600 in February. This is how a car works. We go 10 months, spend no money. $600 spent in December. Say on a heater core or something, well, $600 and $600, $1,200 for the year. Divide that by 12 months in a year, since we're talking about budgeting, that's roughly $100 a month in a small maintenance payment. That's what it costs to have no warranty on your old vehicle, and you're gonna have to maintain that. Now the fact that it looks like it was $39 more, and we're paying $100 here, if I can eliminate that $100, guess what? I'm actually saving you $61 as long as I can provide a zero ownership cost on your new car with the full warranty. So with the 5-year, 100,000 mile warranty on your new vehicle, If something goes out, let's say the engine goes out in 2 years, I don't care if it costs $5,000, how much would it cost you? Nothing. Zero ownership costs. So it's not really $39 more. I'm actually saving you $61 from the warranty that you were having to keep up with on your old car. So doesn't it make complete sense to trade at $5.99 a month and it's super affordable? And when gas goes to $5 a gallon, you're going to get paid back at the pump? Absolutely. Sign here. Thank you guys so much for your business. And that's how we would close it when somebody doesn't currently have a payment on the vehicle they're trading in and they say the payment's too high. Okay guys, basically I'm going to show you now when we don't have the gas to talk about, right? But we have a warranty. We still stick to the same strategy, but just to let you in on a little secret, the national average what it costs to maintain a vehicle that's currently out of warranty is really $1,900 a year. And I've researched on the websites, a lot of them say it's $2,600, even $2,500. I use $1,900, but whenever I do a payment close and there's gas involved, since gas is what's spent right now, immediately, weekly, everybody spends gas, and then warranties are spent periodically through the period of a year, I always talk about gas first, and then most of the time going through a gas close, if my car has a warranty and theirs doesn't, I'll finish it off with a warranty close, but I use $1,200 as a national average. Why? Because $1,200 divided by 12 months in a year, it's $100 a month in a small maintenance payment. To let you in on the little secret, if it just has a warranty to talk about, it's really $1,900 a year is what it costs to maintain a vehicle that's currently out of warranty. Research shows it over and over again. So basically, at this time, I have a 2010 Chevy Silverado with 100,000 miles on it that a customer's trading in. Now they're buying a 2013 Chevy Silverado with only 30,000 miles on it. The payment's $599 a month. The customer's currently paying $400, and they only want to go to $450. This doesn't have gas savings. Hey, if it does, and let's say this Chevy had a different engine than this one and I could use it, I would. But I'm going to show you, if we have to go just to a full blown out warranty close, I'm going to show you how easy it is. It's very, very simple. And remember this, you have to practice this over and over again to get good at it. We're not perfect, but what we do have to have is a strategy when we're going in there defending the pencil. We got to have answers for our customers and we got to collect all the money. And in this case, it's $599 a month. So basically this customer says, hey Andy, I appreciate it. There's no way, trade my 2010 in for your 2013, I can go over $450 a month. Remember what we said? Write it down. $450, I understand. And how much are you currently paying on your old vehicle? $400. So you're basically saying you can afford about $50 more for your new car, is that correct? Okay. Remember this? We flip over to the back side of the sheet of paper. At the top, what's the first thing we write? If they can afford to pay more, right, we write that. Mr. Customer, just to let you know I was listening to you, I'm going to write the $50 more in budget. You said you could afford more for that new vehicle. Now, this is your 2010 Chevy, let's say it's got 100,000 miles. This is my 2013 Chevy. It's got 30,000 miles. Basically, right now, you're paying, or my new car is going to cost $599, and you're paying $400. Now, our whole presentation is over no warranty. So what's the first thing I'm going to write? I'm going to write what it is my whole presentation's over. And Mr. Customer, on your 2010 Chevy Silverado, you're currently out of warranty, is that correct? Yes. Remember, in a seated position, everything has to be written. Write it down. No warranty. So basically, if anything broke, you'd have to pay for it out of pocket, is that correct? Yes. Nice. Okay. 5-year, 100,000 mile warranty on my new car. Now, Mr. Customer, basically the national average what it costs to maintain a vehicle that's currently out of warranty is about $1,900 a year. Now, I want to share something with you. The fact that your car's out of warranty and you have to pay for the stuff when it breaks, I'm just going to share this. If you drove out of here and the engine went out and you said you had to think about it and go to McDonald's and you had to put a brand new engine for $5,000, you'd have to pay for that out of your pocket, correct? Well, I just want to tell you, I'm using a small number here, national average. This is just on small ticket items, $1,900 a year. Well, basically, if I take the timeline of a year and I say January, you were to spend $1,000 on your truck, and then let's say you go 10 or 11 months, you spend no money on it, right? That's typically how a car works. And then guess what? You spend $900 in December. Well, 1,900 is $1,900 for the year. That's how national average works. Now, I'll take that $1,900 a year and I divide it by 12 months in a year since we're talking about budgeting and payments. And basically, that's, heck, $175 a month just in a small maintenance payment of what you have to upkeep to be prepared to pay for stuff when it does break. Since there's no warranty, you have to pay for it. So, I'm going to take the $175 a month that you're going to have in a payment, right? Because you have no warranty. You have to budget that to be prepared to pay for the small maintenance stuff when they break. And I'm also going to add the $400 payment you're paying now, and it shows me that you need to be prepared to budget for a $575 a month payment total ownership cost if your old vehicle breaks. See, what happens is a lot of the times customers are driving around and they're paying new car money on used cars. And in this case, that's your same situation. Now, if I look at my new vehicle, $599 a month is what the new car costs. You have a 5-year, 100,000 mile warranty. Remember we talked about the engine? If you drove out of here and in 2 years the motor went out, how much would it cost you? Nothing. Even it costs 5 or 10 grand. I like saying this word, the payment stays the same. Mr. Customer, zero ownership cost. So basically, if I take that $599 payment and I compare it to the $575 that roughly you're gonna have to budget for to look at, continuing to pay for your old car, it's only a $24 difference. And it's really not that, because you said you could afford $50 more when you came in here today. So it showed me if I take the $575 you're currently paying now, total ownership cost between payment and then ownership payment for the fact you have no warranty, and I added that $50, that shows me you could comfortably afford a $625 payment ballpark. The new car is only $599. So you basically go around, you drive, and you pay new car money for a used car. Wouldn't it be better to pay $599 for a new vehicle, have absolute full warranty, peace of mind, and know that you have a zero ownership cost if something breaks? Absolutely. Sign here. Let me get your new car cleaned up for you. Hi everybody. Basically what I'm going to go over now is the objection. The price is too high. Now listen, take a piece of paper, make sure that you're writing this down. I need you to do this for me. Write $18.99 out of the piece of paper, write $3.99 a month. Now I don't know how they pencil in your store, but I know this. There's usually a price or a payment. And if there's not a price, when they ask for the price, you do have to surface it. It gives the ability for somebody to say the price is too high. So in any state, the proposal that I'm writing for this customer specifically is $18.99, $3.99 a month, okay? So 3 things we got to focus on. And this may take you a little bit of time to get down, but it's actually pretty simple. I don't want you to think about it too much, but step 1 is smoke. What that means is, I'll explain in a minute. 2, motive. 3, no motive. If you'll write down these 3 things for me, I'm going to explain them to you, but write them down on a piece of paper where you have room to write, okay? And then remember this is the DVD. You can watch this over and over again until you get it down. That's the blessing of it. So I'm going to erase this. And I'm going to start where the customer says the price is too high. Okay, so basically, customer says $18.99, $3.99 a month, sign here. And the customer says, hey Andy, the price is too high. First thing I want you to do, remember, step 1 is smoke. I understand, Mr. Customer. Other than the price, are you okay with the $3.99? And notice me, I'm circling the payment over and over, and I'm going to ask, other than the price, are you okay with the $3.99? What am I focusing in on? They're going to focus most times on what I focus on. I'm focusing on the payment. Why? Because I just showed you guys how to do payment closes over and over. Most stores have about an 80% finance penetration, which means this. 8 out of 10 people are really focused primarily on the payment, but customers aren't professional negotiators. So a lot of the times they say the price is too high, just thinking that if the price comes down, the payment will come down with it. Don't get caught in that trap, okay? Easy. Other than the price, are you okay with the $3.99? Circle it a couple times, and you're going to hear 80% of the time, Andy, actually the payment's too high too. I understand. How close can you come to this? They say $300. How much are you currently paying now? $200. So you're saying you could afford about $100 more for your new car. I just went to a payment close. Price is never talked about again. So that's smoke. It means that the customer really doesn't know how to negotiate. They're just saying if the price comes down, the payment will come down with it. Guess what? Get off price. We can do 10 or 15 things with the payment. You can only do one thing with the price. That's to take a crack at it, trying to overcome it. But the objective was really for a better payment. And I surfaced that before bringing up the price. Okay, objection. So my point is this. Number 1, make sure that when they say the price is too high, guess what? Make sure that they're saying specifically the price is too high before you start trying to overcome it. Always try to take them to a payment first. All right, so we're going to go back through it again. And now I'm going to say I'm okay with the payment, or the payment's not a big deal. I just think the price is too high. So $18.99, $3.99, sign here. Hey, Mr. Customer, other than the price, are you okay with the $3.99? Yeah, you know what, I'm okay with the $3.99, or I'm really not concerned with the $3.99 now. I just think the price is too high. Write this down. Other than price, right? Are you okay with the $3.99? That's number 1. And then after that, when you say the price is too high, would you mind being a little more specific why you think the price is too high? That basically says hot potato, okay? I can't overcome why he's saying the price is too high. I can go into Kelley Blue Book, NADA, the retail price, all this stuff. But if I don't know what his motive is, how do I know if I'm really overcoming it? So, when you say the price is too high, would you mind being a little more specific why you think the price is too high? Sit there and wait. Let him give you the answer to close him. So let's say in this specific situation, the guy says, well, at ABC Motors down the road, I saw one $1,000 less, same car. Now we go apples to apples, right? But let's say the guy says it was the same car. What I want you to do now is I want you to go into purchase price versus ownership price close. I'm going to explain. So number 2 is motive. Remember this, they said that the car that they found was $1,000 cheaper in our car. I'm not going to say, well, if I match that price, would you do it? No, this is money justification. We got to collect all the money. So what am I going to do? I'm going to flip over the back side of the sheet of the paper, and at the top, 17.9 ABC Motors, and I'm going to write purchase price at the top. Okay, 18.9 is us. Pretty simple. So basically, I'm going to draw a line down to the bottom, and at the bottom, I'm going to write ownership price. Now, just like we did the payments versus the ownership payments, this is real close to the same. Mr. Customer, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the purchase price and basically what an ownership price is, but a purchase price is this. Let's say at ABC Motors, okay, where you saw the car $1,000 cheaper. Basically, look, most dealers around town do a 20 to a 30-point service inspection. The reason why is they don't sell this car within 60 days, they'll take it to the auction. They can't resurface an auction bill. Okay, so if they have 17.9 in this vehicle or whatever they have in it, if they spend $1,000 servicing it, guess what happens? They don't get that back at the auction. So you know what they have to do? They have to limit their money to maybe $200 spent in their service station so they can afford to price it cheaper. But they're not higher in all the critical areas that are important to you and your family, but they are a little cheaper in price. Guess what? I call this, they do everything that the eyes can see. They put a good detail, they tire shine it up, they change the oil, and it looks like the same car as mine, except it's not. See, the motive in our store is this, having a zero ownership cost. We do a 127-point service inspection. Let me explain this to you. At the beginning of each day, my manager, walks back to the service station and says, let me explain this to you guys. When you're servicing these cars a day, so you understand, if you make these cars perfect, I don't care whether you spend $1,000 to $2,000. Look, we're not going to put cheap May-Pop tires on these cars, which may pop when they drive off the lot, like a lot of these other dealerships. We're going to service these cars right so our customers can have zero ownership cost, which means this. And he explains it to them. If they buy the car today and they drive it 3 or 4 years, no money spent, guess what happens? They're going to come back and buy their next car here. That's how good business works. So, guess what? We do everything that the eyes can and can't see. And I'm making it real easy without going into all the stuff that we do real fast about what we do differently that most stores don't do. So after 3 or 4 years, you buy this car, here's how it kind of looks. 3 to 4 years go down the road, 17.9 at ABC Motors, basically you spend $2,000 out of pocket over the next 3 to 4 years, plus time and inconvenience. Even if you're a millionaire, you can't even get time back. But you go through and you do these flushes, you put tires on your car, you go through, and because it hadn't been serviced right to be new for you and your family up front, guess what? All that servicing is stuff that you have to pay for in the end. 17.9 plus $2,000 spent out of pocket, guess what? The ownership price, which is what the real money costed you out of your pocket on that car, was really $19.9 at the end of the day. But over here at our lot, because we don't care how much we spend on a car to get it new for you and your family. We're hiring all the critical areas that are important to you and your family. Mr. Customer, I mean, I can price my car a little higher since I spent more. Wouldn't you say that you pay a little more for great business? Yeah? And wouldn't you say since I'm higher in all the other areas that most dealerships are, that my car can be afforded to be priced a little higher? And I'll show you why. Because of a zero ownership cost, which means you don't spend any money other than oil changes, right? 18.9 plus nothing is an 18.9 ownership cost. 90% of our customers have agreed that the ownership price is much more important than the purchase price. That's the true money spent out of your pocket at the end of the day. And I'm not the best at math, but which one's cheaper? So Mr. Customer, what I want to ask you is this, is that if I can show you and your family a zero ownership cost on this new vehicle, okay, at $399 a month, at $18.9, you'll come back and buy your next car off me, won't you? Shake their hand, yes. That's my goal, to show you a zero ownership cost. So that's when somebody says the price is too high and there's a motive, okay? Flip it over on the back side of the sheet. Remember, purchase price versus ownership price. Boys, you know what your dealership has that other dealerships don't have. You got to surface this information, you got to arm yourself, and just like I wrote this down, you got to be able to prepare it. Know what your store has to offer that other stores don't. It's so easy. You don't have to negotiate down. Don't match that other dealer's price. Don't do it. They'll spend the money with you every time, especially if they love you, and that's our job. So I'm going to show you one last thing here. This is when somebody says the price is too high and there's no motive, okay? I'm going to walk through it with you. 18.9, $399, sign here. Hey Andy, that price is too high. I understand. Other than price, are you okay with the payment? Yeah, I'm really not worried about the payment. I just think the price is too high. Okay. And when you say the price is too high, would you mind being a little more specific why you think the price is too high? We just think it's too high. Okay, stop. That guy, when he said the price was too high, if he has a motive, he's going to surface it immediately. If he doesn't have a motive, that means that he's just going to repeat again that the price is too high. I just think it's a little too high. He's probing for a better deal. So this is when you got to go into empathy. You got to say, Mr. Customer, I apologize. This is completely my fault. I didn't explain my pricing policy to you up front. I know where I messed up. So we've learned that 90% of our customers, they want to get the best price up front. Then 10% still want to negotiate and haggle. Unfortunately, we find it disrespectful and untrustworthy. See, we're looking for a further relationship with you and your family than just today. I don't play that cat and mouse game. I could have marked this car up $3,000 and came out at $21,900, and if I did, and then you said it was too high, and I would have came down to $18,900, you might have felt like you won, maybe even buy the car from me. But even if you did buy the car, would you really buy your next car here with me playing those games with you? Absolutely not. Again, I'm looking for a further relationship with you than just today. Have I offended you and your family in any way by giving you the best price up front? Have I offended you in any way? They'll always say no. Thank goodness. So at $18,900, you said you're okay with the payments at $399. Let me get your signature right here. Then I'm gonna get your new car cleaned up for you. Thank you so much. That right there is the price is too high. It's real simple. You got to know your steps, you got to understand how it works, and you got to know when there's a motive or no motive. And don't go to negotiating the price before going to the payment first. And you guys will be really successful and collect all the money. Thank you. Okay guys, I'm going to show you now. Somebody says I want more for my trade-in. This is just like the price is too high, similarity to it. $18,900, $7,000 for your trade, $399, sign here. The customer says, hey, I'm gonna have to have more for my trade. Always try to convert to the payment first. I understand, but are you okay with the $399? Always try to take them there, okay? But remember, if they say, well, I'm fine with the payment, I just think I need more for my trade-in. You say, I understand, let me show you how we arrived at the top value for your vehicle, or at the top dollar. Either way is fair. Once you flip it over, first thing you want to write, auctions. Basically what we do, we have a system in our store, it's over all 50 states. We can type in the VIN number, and we do this when buying and trading for cars. We take the VIN number, we take the miles. It actually specifically identifies a vehicle just like yours, and within the last 30 days, kind of what they sold for, you know, maybe there's 20 of them, maybe there's 50 of them. We found that $4,500 on the low end is roughly what they're bringing on the low end. Now, obviously there's different conditions, and they've brought up to $6,000. But the fact that I'm giving you $1,000 more than that, I'm higher than the local auctions. Not to mention local dealers. What we do is, let's say you're trading a Mazda, we call 2 or 3 local Mazda stores, and what we want to see roughly is what they'd be given for those vehicles, because nobody's going to give more money for a Mazda than a Mazda store. And we're finding that they're giving around $6,200. So we're actually $800 higher than the local dealers. But we don't stop there. We also talk about reconditioning it. Obviously, we're trading for your vehicle before we spend any money. Now, if your sister came and bought the car, I'd have to service it, make it new for her and her family, and you'd want me to do that, right? So basically what happens is we have to get it ready and new for them. Tires, $700. Let's say that busted bumper on the back where you backed into the mailbox, you know, we have to put a new one on and then paint it. That's going to cost around $300. Used car inspection, I'm going to call that a UCI. We're going to spend roughly $300 on that because I have to service it, change the fluids, and maybe there's a couple things that come up, but on a low end, $300, that's small. and then obviously detail it, get it ready for the next customer, make it new for them. That's going to cost roughly around $100. So if I take the $700, the $3, and $1, that's roughly $1,400 to have to spend in a service station, and that's even considering the fact that nothing major is wrong with it. Also, the $7,000 I'm giving you, that puts me in owning the vehicle for $8,400 before I have the chance to even market it. And you wouldn't pay full retail for a used car, would you? Of course you wouldn't, and I wouldn't expect you to. Just like we can't expect the next customer to pay that for yours. Now, Mr. Customer, I might mention the last point of this, and I'm talking to you salesmen specifically, listen to me. Bring up time it takes to sell a car like theirs. If they have a Ford Ranger 5-speed, talk about how long it takes to sell a Ford Ranger 5-speed. It's the truth, 3 to 4 months, talk about it. Last time we had one, it sat here for 4 months. Guess what, 4 months times $200 a month in interest we pay on a car before we sell it. Gosh, man, you know that cost us an extra $800 because it was a tough car to sell. That adds the $8,400. Now I'm basically in your car for $9,200. I'm just saying, if you have an example, high mileage, a rebuilt title, something like that, basically you want to talk about time. So, Mr. Customer, I'm going to flip back over the sheet now. At the $7,000 for your trade, you said you're okay with the $399. Let me get your signature right here. I'm going to get your new car cleaned up for you. Now watch. If that guy says, and I'm going to tell you, you'll close probably 60, 70% of them at this point. But the other couple that say, Andy, I appreciate everything you've showed me, but I'm going to have maybe $8,000 more for I'm going to have $8,000 for my vehicle. Okay, I understand. Flip the sheet back over. You cannot negotiate from pure error. Remember this. This is closed with 100% money justification. Never negotiate again. If you tell a guy, what if I got you $7,500? Dude, where did you come up with that $500 from? Well, now I want $9,000 since you're just giving me free money. So guess what? I'm going to flip it back over, and I'm going to say, listen, Mr. Customer. So basically, the first thing that comes to mind, if you're telling me you want more money for your trade, I'm going to go right to the reconditioning bill because it's pure logic. We know that I'm giving you more at the auctions. I'm giving you more than the local dealers, but I do have to service your car. Let's look at this. Maybe I could get the tires done for $600. That saves us $100. Maybe I have to do the bumper. Maybe I can get the UCI done for $200 as long as you'll promise me it doesn't need nothing. And let's say I get my boss to throw in a detail for free and the detailer doesn't charge us. Well, we just saved $300. So what I'll do is this. I'll go to bat for you for more on your trade at $7,300. Also, not only that, I lowered your payment at the same time. So guess what? Not only am I going to go in for a little lower payment, I got you more for your trade just like you wanted. Mr. Customer, give me your signature right here. Let me go talk to my boss and make sure I can get that handled. Always negotiate from pure logic. Flip it over. Now I'm going to give you kind of a sneak peek on what you have to do before this gets here. Okay? In the very beginning, you're getting the VIN and the miles off your trade-in as you're writing the deal up, right? Okay? I'm not asking you to go outside with the customer and beat them up on their trade. You know, hey, if there's some scratches, touch it. Start the car. If it sounds weird, you know, get a pause and, you know, try to do the trade-in devaluation. I'm not so much into that as I am in this. Mr. Customer, look, my used car manager loves to give top dollars for vehicles, okay? Do me a favor. Share with me within the last 2 to 3 years all the money and all the things that you've done to your vehicle so I can guarantee the biggest value possible for it. Let him start spilling out all the things on his trade-in that he's had fixed because the motive is he's going to get more for it. But you're going to turn around in the warranty close during the time of negotiations, and that was money they spent on the car. It's going to help you in that area when it comes to justifying the payment. Also, at the same time, look, Mr. Customer, customer satisfaction is number one to us. What I want to do is, I had a customer trade in a car 2 weeks ago. The rear window was sticking. It was working at the time they traded in, but guess what? When it went through service, nobody caught it because it was working, but the customer knew that it was sticking, and sometimes it doesn't roll up or down. So since that vehicle was sold to a nice young family, they were stuck out in a rainstorm with their baby in the back seat with the window down. Now they're really upset at me, and the deal is we like to ask questions up front. Is there anything majorly wrong with your vehicle today that you can share with me so I can keep my customer service high, and I can share that with my service manager when we trade for it? Let them tell you a couple things about what needs to be done to it, and guess where that's going to go? Not only with what needs to be done to the eye, but challenge them to tell you a little bit more with a good motive because you love customer service. That's money you can all use here, and guess what? Never negotiate again, close with pure logic, and be deadly on the pencil when somebody says, I want more for my trade. Thank you. Okay guys, one last thing we're going to talk about real quick is credit. what I see is this. A lot of customers, they pull up into the car dealership and they say, hey, I've got less than perfect credit, I'd like to get pre-approved. We want to go into this right after filling out the credit application, and I'm going to explain why. Or maybe one and the same, you've landed them on the wrong car, you went and drove a Chevy Tahoe, you came back inside, got a credit app because they're ready to buy it, and your boss says, hey, you need to be on a Chevy Malibu. Now you've made them fall in love with the Chevy Tahoe, right? But because they have less than perfect credit, we have to switch them to a different car. These are awkward conversations. I'm going to show you a place that you can maybe have a little in-between time for a couple minutes to set them up to buy the perfect car, right? That'll still make you all the money, but then again at the same time still get them the vehicle they came in for, or a vehicle they came in for. So basically, look, credit is at the top. When somebody comes in, I'll sit down and I'll say, guys, look, I'm going to write down credit on this piece of paper. Remember, this is a white sheet of piece of paper, me and you sitting down, I'm filling out a credit app, and I say, first of all, what I want to do is this. I want to show you kind of what it is that I'd like to explain to you. You got two people, one on this side of the street, one on this side of the street. They buy a $15,000 car. One person's paying $250 a month, the other person's paying $500 a month. What's the difference in these two customers? Credit, that's right. See, credit dictates this much to that much on a monthly payment. You know, when you have good credit, you can make any financial decision you want in your life, have low payments, and buy whatever you want. When you have less than perfect credit, maybe you've had a bump in the road, I'm not sure what their situation is, you can probably identify with them at this time. Guess what? Are you guys ready to get on this side of the street and have lower payments and buy what you want for the rest of your life? Great. Then if you are, let me show you what we have to do. We have to get our foot in the door with a nationwide lender. Let me explain what that means. That means this. Get your foot in the door with a bank that'll report to the credit bureau, that'll allow you to drive a vehicle, build some credit, and then a year, you're that perfect credit customer buying whatever you want for the rest of your life. If you go to a lot of dealers, okay, and they don't deal with nationwide lenders and they have their own financing and stuff like that, they may be able to sell you a car, but because they don't report right, you may be or because they're not a real bank, you may have a loan going with them, but then a year from now you wonder why you don't have good credit still, and the only person you can buy a car from is them. Well, guess what? That's because that wasn't with a nationwide lender. See, we have nationwide lenders set up at our store. And what I want to show you is this. Just like you're ready to get on this side of the street with low payments, we've got to get our foot in the door with a nationwide lender. Have you ever known anybody that's had a set of braces? Basically, look, when you go to get braces, who do you get braces from? Let's say dentist. It's really the orthodontist, but let's just say it's dentist. Now, when you go to the dentist, what does he do? He prescribes braces. To do what? Give you that perfect smile. But when you go into the dentist, does he show you 6 sets of braces and say, hey, which set would you like? No. What he does is he selects the perfect set of braces that'll do what? Come off your teeth in 1 year and do what? Give you that perfect smile for the rest of your life. Now I want to ask you a question. Do you pay for the braces because you want the braces? Or do you pay for the braces because it's what the braces does for you? See, it's not what the braces are, it's what the braces do for you. You're paying for the perfect smile for the rest of your life, but you get the braces. Well, basically, the credit reestablishment program and going with the nationwide lender, I'm just going to put the word bank up here, that we use, what they do is that they provide the fact that you can get a car. Now what happens is the bank shares the risk 50-50 with you. You make the payments, they do the loan. So both of you guys have to interact together to get the accomplishment goal of getting your credit perfect. But what the dealership does, or what the bank does, when they go to build your credit, there's maybe 5 or 6 cars out on our lot, right, that basically we could choose from, but there's one specifically that will work perfect for you that'll do what? Allow you in 1 year to come back and have that perfect credit for the rest of your life. So what we like to do up front is we like to actually go into this and try to find that perfect vehicle, right, that works great for the bank since you guys are both sharing the risk together, and then will allow you to build your credit so after 1 year you can come back, buy another vehicle from me, but any car you want for the rest of your life, because we've done it right today, getting your foot in the door with a nationwide lender. So what I want to ask you is this. As I bring in the credit application to the desk, right, I want to let my finance manager know that you guys are willing to make every payment perfect on time for the next year because you guys want to get your foot in the door with a nationwide lender. Is that correct? They'll say yes. Have them sign right here, initial off on the piece of paper. I like to show this to my manager. That way he fully understands that you guys know what the credit reestablishment program is and you know what it does for you down the road. Now watch this. Basically what we did is we allowed them to understand that, look, credit's the #1 motive. It's not about what the car is, it's about what the car does for you. which should allow you to go to your manager to do what? Select that one specific certain vehicle that'll make you and your family all the money, that'll also work for the bank in getting them financed. That way you don't walk them out there and have them select a ton of cars. Most of the time your managers can guide you to the perfect vehicle. But you have to sell situations and ideas and stay off selling the car. Most of the time we're outside 90% on the lot in the beginning, then the last 10% of the time we're inside. A lot of the times with bad credit customers, we're inside the first 90% of the time and then negotiating the last 10% of the time. So get a piece of paper and get familiar with writing these down. There's two sides of the street. The braces close. Like I said, people don't go to get braces, they go to get what the braces do for them. They pay a lot of money for something that they don't want to get what they do want. Right? So when you pull around that car and they say, hey, I really don't want that car, I understand it's not about what the car is, it's about what the car does for you. Keep credit on the line, but you have to know how to talk to them. So I hope this helps you whenever somebody says that they have less than perfect credit, that'll help you guide them to the right vehicle or help you to make switches. Thank you.
Now that you've seen the strategies you can use instead of negotiating, not only will your gross go through the roof, but your closing ratio should dramatically increase. There's two ways to make more money: increase gross profit and sell more cars. The reason why we made a DVD is so you can duplicate this. Watch it over and over until you get it down, but believe in yourself while doing it. If you do this, your competition won't stand a chance. If you have any questions, comments, or struggles, feel free to email us at theelliottgroupnow@gmail.com. We'll be happy to help you. Thank you so much for joining us.